So my question becomes, I want to make sure we get this answer so we're all on the same page. How does that trick the voters?
Because you're going to keep chipping away at what we.
But it tricks the voters in giving up their right to vote. So the voters, so question 9, your contention as the planning commission chair, question 9 in its form is going to remove the ability for a Charleston voter to elect their elected planning commission.
It could have that result.
So I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to ask our solicitor, based on this question that's in front of us, is this in somehow going to trick the voter and or do away? I mean, in this question here, are we going to do away with the elected planning commission?
No, it maintains the election.
It maintains the election. We just heard it from our solicitor. This question maintains the election. Hopefully, that will put an end to that. I doubt it, but we can all hope that it will.
So if it's not ratified.
If what's not ratified?
If the charter isn't ratified.
Then what? I mean, you're saying we're not going to ratify the charter?
I don't know.
Now it's going to be an appointed planning commission? Is that what you're saying?
No, if your charter is not ratified, what's the result of that?
What do you mean if it's not ratified?
I mean, that's a hypothetical question. How would you know? First of all, you're assuming it wouldn't be ratified or it would be ratified.
Are you going to ask that it be ratified?
Can I raise a question with solicitor? So it was my understanding that if there are significant changes to provisions that as a result of these referendum questions, that the charter will have to be considered for re-ratification. Is that correct?
Let me tell you the law.
Okay.
And folks settle in on what you want. The general rule is, in Rhode Island, the General Assembly is the sovereign. They have all legislative authority in the state. There's an exemption, home rule charter in the Constitution that says all cities and towns control what are called local matters. I'm shortening the legal analysis. I'm trying to explain it in lay terms. So what's a local matter? Well, anything that doesn't conflict with the state law, state general law. So now you have state general laws for planning commissions that say they shall be appointed. Yours isn't. Yours is elected. Yours does not comply with the state law. But you also have a ratified charter from 1980. That's considered a special act of the General Assembly. Takes it out of the general laws provision. It makes Charlestown exempt from complying with those general laws for the appointment of a planning commission, the turnover of the term of office. All of those requirements were put aside in 1980 when the General Assembly ratified the 1980 Charlestown Town Charter. So one of the points is on this matter, if you change the terms of office of the planning commissioners, I would tell you, you should have a provisional language in this particular question so that it's only effective if ratified by the General Assembly. Because if it's not ratified, you will put the planning commission's legal authority in limbo because they won't be consistent with state law any longer, and they haven't got the legal authority as a special act to exist that way. So you would undermine their position. And it's just simple enough. You put on the question, if the voters approve it, it's subject to the ratification by the General Assembly. Simple solution.
So,
And if the General Assembly doesn't ratify, the decision of the voters is no. It goes back to what you had.
okay, so that was my question. If it goes forward to be considered for ratification and is not ratified, they don't change the change the previous ratification. They simply say your new terms aren't.
Otherwise, you'd have to comply with the general laws.
Okay.
So we can put an end to this once and for all.
Well, that was the assumption was that
And that's
it isn't getting ratified.
And that's the problem with the assumptions. That's when stuff like this gets out there in the public and creates this great division within our community. Put that in here.
But it's not in there. So the question that you have is not subject to ratification.
Well, I mean, it seems very simple that we would just add, as long as it's ratified by the General Assembly. Now, if that were in there, would that untrick the voters, in your opinion?
Yes.
Thank you.